you can just do something in your own house on your own terms and have pretty much no red tape to consider at all.
You could have a venue that, that you run that does like loud shows one night a week.
There was a show at a house party in the Columbia City area. The band Heroin played. I don't remember the show so much, I just remember the basement of the house and it being packed with people. It blew my mind. And then later, a couple of my friends in the University District, they would have shows in their house, in their basement. And it really broke the rules in my head about what you're supposed to be able to do, where you're supposed to be able to play.
All right, we're gonna bring it down real quick here. Well, we'll see them both on the other shore. Yeah, we'll see them both on the other shore. In happiness eternally, in a worship recipe. We'll see them both on the other shore. All right, you all ready? It's been a real pleasure to play for you today. Here we go. Wow!
I was with my folks one time. They were visiting from California and we were walking by a coffee shop. My dad, he said something though that I'll never forget. He looked into the coffee shop and he started laughing and I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Every single person in that coffee shop is sitting by themselves with a laptop." When it comes to community, which we want so badly, we try to find it in ways that we think won't erode or eclipse or challenge or threaten that godlike individuality that we have. And Seattle is the loneliest city. The Pacific Northwest is a place where, when it comes to religion, organized religion, most people identify themselves as having none. So we live in the none zone. Seattle in this way sort of fits the description of postmodern. There's an absence of what's called an overarching narrative that binds a particular society. That is missing in Seattle. Where does one go to make meaning as an individual, to fill that need that I think makes us human? And I think there are a number of places. One of them is possibly the music scene.
I feel like I've kind of looked for community my whole life. I tried to go to church and kind of have community there and found out that I wasn't right for them. So that community wasn't really working out and wasn't really representative of me. And then I found the DIY community for music, and it was just like all of these enthusiastic, amazing, positive kids who it's just kind of come as you are and even like have some ideas and we're going to support you and we're all in this together. And it's not even do it yourself, it's like do it together. I don't even know why it's called do it yourself, but
DIY music is whatever the intention has zero to do with company, profit, or personal wealth or attainment. I think it naturally has kind of a community ideal to it.
I'm creative, but I'm not an artist myself, nor am I a musician, just a lover of music. So it's great for me to have an outlet to be able to support the community without actively playing a role in producing the art. And it's been a really great partnership for us between musicians and artists and our home as a space and a venue.
I started Healthy Times with Jake, who's now my husband, a while ago with some friends. I had just come off of having a venue I cared a lot about shut down and was pretty devastated about that. It's a big personal commitment, but just do a couple of emails and it's just whatever bands you like. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go through a meeting and kind of convince people that this is a rad thing to do and worry about guarantees.
This is the Josephine, so named after Napoleon's wife. We started doing shows June 1st of 2008. Sometimes it kind of baffles me that all you really have to do is online say I want to have shows and start putting together shows, get people to agree to play in your basement, and I give it a month and something will happen. You'll be contacted by people you've never met.
My first real show was Juno, Rye Coalition, Federation X, and the Narrows. And it was in this basement, and 150 people showed up. And it was just really exciting to make things like that happen and to see people come and have such a great time. And the fact that people of all ages could come was always really important to me.
When we first started out, we had a lot more shows than we do now. And I was working 65 hours a week so that we could afford rent. And the personal burnout was huge almost immediately. We realized we had to tone it down and have fewer shows.
One day, I woke up starving and really angry just at the situation, and realized that on top of doing the Josephine or the SS Marie Antoinette and those things that are not profitable, they're not something that I do to make money. I was in a lot of debt, had no food, and just woke up really angry at that situation.
It's really tough because PA systems and mics cost money, and instruments and guitars cost money. And so in order for bands to be able to do what they do, they need money. And venues need money to help pay rent or do upkeep.
We don't like being treated inauthentically. And so we think of ourselves in terms of being over and against the prevailing culture. That's very popular in Seattle because the communities aren't providing people with the kind of authenticity I think they should have.
The whole music business side of things that really just, I think, fucks it up, makes it really impossible to make something honest. And that's why I was really, really obsessed with the honesty of DIY, of house shows.
Well, we live in a commercialized corporate entertainment state. Most of the mainstream media doesn't really speak to our creative needs.
I think DIY is definitely a microcosm of what we can do without uprooting the whole system, to find that space of feeling connected to what you're producing.
There can be a broader, more diverse group of people coming because they don't necessarily have to pay to be here. And there's a more diverse group of artists coming through because they don't have to be a big band, they don't have to be signed to a major label.
The House of Zanzibar started as a brainstorm drunkenly at a bar. Had a lot of artist friends and musician friends who didn't have a space to show their work, or a lot of our artist friends hadn't seen the other friends' art.
Even as I pass on, even as I die, what I'm doing here is part of a larger reality. So you have all these different facets that provide a sense of stability, community, and ritual for people who are engaged in the underground, non-commercial Seattle music scene.
There's so many people out there that want to be part of it and want to be part of their own different version of the music scene. Some people want to own a restaurant someday, Some people want to do something with their old age where they're like, oh, I'd really like to see that happen. And most people kind of just see it pass by as some kind of a pipe dream. And the coolest thing was, my dream was a lot more attainable.
There's nothing permanent. The grass withers and the flower fades. Being never endures. It is always changing. It's here today, gone tomorrow.
It's the history of Seattle, really, to have a house get shut down or stop and another house spring up almost immediately in its place. There's always going to be a thriving scene here. We could die tomorrow and it would keep going strong, I think.
Off the